the third year and counting, Richard Skipper has been celebrating the artists you love.
And what are some of the things that you've really run out of time? And we've got to talk about your latest. I want to go back a little bit, first of all, and celebrate a true legend.
Richard Skipper is all about celebrating life, art, and his guest body of work.
And did you pursue performing opportunities while you were in high school?
Please join us while he showcases these diverse and talented individuals. Here's Richard Skipper.
Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Richard Skipper Celebrates. Who or what are you celebrating tonight? I know who I'm celebrating tonight. I am celebrating an amazing talent, and that is Deborah Silver. I am so excited that she's here tonight. It's taken a while to get her here because she's busy, and I've been busy, and she's been busy, but tonight we are both here together. It is also National Paranormal Day, and how appropriate that she is here tonight because she truly is a supernatural talent. The legendary Quincy Jones says, "One listen and you know, Deborah Silver is the real deal." Deborah has had a string of hit duets with celebrated artists, including Bill Medley of the Righteous Brothers, Jack Jones, Freddie Cole, Steve Terrell, Ann Hampton Calloway, American Idol Casey Abrams, and Ray Benson of Asleep at the Wheel. Her upcoming releases include duets with superstars Tony Orlando, Ronnie Millsap, and jazz icon Diane Shure. Deedles herself. I'll tell her about the night that we had dinner together in Laguna Beach, an incredible talent. She is known for her incredible work. Deborah has recorded her first album, Pure Silver, to raise funds for a cure that is important to my heart as well, and that is to raise funds for ALS. And she continues to honor that charitable commitment to help her sister and millions of others diagnosed with that same disease. Her follow-up album, The Gold Standards, an out-of-the-box smash produced by my dear friend Steve Terrell, entered at #1 on Billboard's traditional jazz albums chart. Her album, Glitter and Grits, sounds like my life story, with Asleep at the Wheel, was named Broadway World's Best Commercial Recording. It landed the #1 spot on both traditional jazz and Western swing charts, and #3 at the top 50 country album chart. Her latest EP, Sunny Side, is an Amazon bestseller in jazz. And famed critic Rex Reed, who I've often been mistaken for, writes Deborah Silver's got it in one package. She's a thrill and swinging showbiz whirlwind. I had to read all that because I didn't want to leave anything out. I'm going to give you a glimpse of what she's all about, and then you'll see her on the other side. Here she is, and let's all tonight accentuate the positive.
Accentuate the positive. Eliminate the negative. Latch on to the affirmative and don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, sir, don't you mess with Mr. In Between.
That looks like a typical morning that when I was growing up in Conway, South Carolina on our farm. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Yeah, it's one of my typical mornings for sure during the pandemic.
Well, I grew up, I had a pet cow named Bessie, and I used to get up and I used to sing to Bessie every morning. I truly did. And there you are, Glitter and Grits. I'm so thrilled that you were here finally.
Finally, yay. I'm thrilled.
It's taken a while to get you here. And I want to ask, who and or what are you celebrating tonight?
Well, I'm celebrating being on your show finally. And you know what? I'm just celebrating being anywhere and getting through as the world is right now. I think we should look at every single day and just celebrate that we are here and we are able to do the things that we're put on this earth to do.
Absolutely. Now, I begin my shows with a random question, and I'm going to start with a random question with you. I haven't even looked at it. So this will set us off on whatever journey we're going to go down tonight. And the question is, what's your favorite board game?
So funny because as you were saying, I'm going to begin with a question. I was thinking, gosh, this reminds me of so many board games. It's so weird that you said that. You know what? My favorite board game is actually Monopoly.
Mine too.
Oh, good. And well, we'll have to get together and play it
I would
sometime.
love it. I would love it.
I have loved playing that over the years, especially when our kids were young. And my kids always beat us, and it was always, it got very competitive. But I think it's important to play board games, with the world the way it is this day, with all the electronics and everything happening. I think people miss out. And I still have in our garage, we turned it into a playroom, a very colorful playroom. I painted the garage doors orange. One's orange, one's green, one's yellow, and the whole room is like psychedelic with confetti, glow in the dark carpet. And it's where we turned into our playroom for the kids. Now it's become my storage room that the kids aren't here anymore. But I still have my cabinet with all our board games. And I go in there every once in a while and have a little tug at my heart, like, we haven't done this. So I want to bring it back, on Friday nights when we get together with a family. I want to do those board games again. And I just encourage everybody to. When my kids were little, they had like 1 hour of screen time per day, and that included TV and any games. And I just feel it's so important, especially when they're young, to do these board games and to play outside in the fresh air and do hopscotch and ring around the rosies.
I agree with you. And it's something that I think is missing with all of us. I was listening to someone the other night talking on TV about the fact that we grew up. I don't know how old you are, and I'm not going to ask. But I'm 61, and I grew up at a time where no, it was I was watching a special the other night on the Love Boat, and the Love Boat was so successful because these producers tapped into the fact that they got the younger generation, the generation of our parents, and the generation of our grandparents,
Right.
and they brought these older stars back and put them on these shows so that the families would come together on Saturday nights and they would sit together and they would watch these shows. And I can honestly say that my parents, for the 18 years I left home after I graduated from high school, but for the 18 years that I lived in my house, my parents never put their heads on their pillows not knowing where their kids were.
Well, bravo to them. And that's the way so many of us grew up. And we were very fortunate that way. And I have to tell you, Saturday nights was my favorite night because it was Love Boat and Fantasy Island, right?
Absolutely.
So those are my favorite. And then to think that I grew up and ended up recording a duet with Jack Jones, who was the Love Boat singer himself, was just, the tops. After that was one of my favorite shows too.
And I have to tell you, I have had the good fortune of, and I can consider Jack Jones a friend. I met Jack Jones when he was performing at Feinstein's in New York, the original Feinstein's at the Regency.
Huh?
And I just went up to him and said, I'd love to interview you someday. And he says, well, what's holding you back? And he gave me his card. And a week later, this was when I was writing, and it's out there, everyone. Richard Skipper Celebrates Jack Jones. Look it up. The interview is there. One of the nicest men in the business.
On the planet. I absolutely one of the nicest for sure. And I will definitely look that up. Jack is, he's got quite a sense of humor. So sometimes he'll call me and I'll say hello, and it won't be, hello, this is Jack. It'll be just a joke. He'll just start off with a joke. He's very funny, but so loving and so giving. And I feel so blessed to be able to call him my friend now too.
Well, I'm going to go back a little bit, but before I go back, we're going to give away your CD tonight to a lucky winner. And we're going to get to your CD in a few moments, but the word that I chose for today is mastery, because I have spent the entire day, believe it or not, delving into your music. And I want to say, I've been listening to your music prior to this interview because thanks to our dear friend Rosa Puzo, who's been trying to set this up for some time. And thank you, Rose, for pushing both of us. I have become such a fan of you and your music and your musicality. And the word that I chose for tonight's show is mastery. And I chose this word because you have mastered not only your craft, your art, but your career, at least from my point of view. We'll talk about that. And maybe I hope that you will agree with me on all of those things, but especially the art and the craft. But when it comes to mastery, what does that word mean to you when it comes to those three elements of your art and your career?
Well, first of all, let me say that is the greatest compliment anyone can give me, and I am completely flattered. But I I don't feel I have mastered anything. I think I will be learning the rest of my life until the day I die. I consider everything around me an opportunity to learn, and you know, I think I learn most from experience, and I learn most from when things go wrong. Like I'm working so hard trying to figure out something on the computer because I am not electronically talented, so it takes me a while. And I go through everything. Oh my gosh, this doesn't work. This doesn't work, and I pulling out my hair. But then when you master it, you feel so good. But gosh, that is the greatest compliment. I'm so appreciative, but I have such a long way to go. But I feel fortunate that I have been able to learn from so many masters themselves.
That's the key right there. And another one, a word that I love in this business for me personally is collaboration,
Oh,
because I learn from so many people. That's why I love doing this show. I learn from every person that sits on the other side of this screen. So again, thank you for being here tonight.
thank
Um,
you so much for having me.
so we talked about game night and your family. Excuse me, I got a little tickle, allergies. But I asked for a photograph of you as a 5-year-old. We don't know if this is really you at 5, but around that time frame. I love this photograph, though. I love the house. I love the little electric thing, because this reminds me so much of the house that I grew up in. Tell us, and I love the little red shoes there. What memories does this photograph evoke for you?
It is so funny. Okay. I I wish I could tell you where I was going, but the one thing I remember is my mother always prepared us whenever we went out. I was probably going to a show or maybe an opera because my mother was an opera singer. But she always made sure we took our sweaters with us in case it was chilly in the room. But I was looking at that picture and I thought, oh my gosh, those red shoes. I love it. I thought, I never knew I was so daring. And I do not even remember having them. Normally, I remember everything. But I'll tell you something funny. I did not have a lot of hair for a long time. And I think that picture, probably when you asked me for a picture when I was at 5, I went back through my photo album, and my younger sister was born when I was 5, and she wasn't quite in the photo album yet. So that's why I think it was right before I was 5. But the thing about the hair is for years, my mother would scotch tape bows to my hair. Did not have enough hair. Now I've got quite a bit, but back then, and it's so funny because with my dogs, my mother always says, "Are you going to scotch tape bows in their hair too?"
So you have a sister, so younger sister. Do you have other brothers and sisters?
I do. I have 2 sisters. I am right in the middle, and they are both my best friends. And as you were speaking about earlier with ALS, very unfortunately, my older sister got ALS, and she's going into her 14th year
God
fighting.
bless her.
Absolutely. She's amazing.
That's a miracle. That God bless her. She's got work to do. That's why she's still here.
You know what? I say the same thing. Absolutely. And you know what? She's already been doing that work because what she does is she inspires everyone around her. I mean, it's incredible to hear the stories because she is such a fighter, but she is fighting this disease with such courage and dignity. And she's written a book, which I'm hoping she's going to finish it and get it out soon, about from the patient's perspective about being a caretaker. And it's so important because there's a lot of caretaker books and information out there, but this is purely from a patient's perspective of what they need and what would help them from their caretakers.
Well, if she's ever up to coming here, I'd love to have her on the show.
My gosh, she would love it, and you would love to meet her.
You both can come together. I'd love to have that.
She, Richard, when you're young, and even on any shows, people say, who's your hero? That's a common question, I think, as a child you get. And I think as a child, I always was reaching for who's the movie star, the political star, whoever it is. But all along, I found out it was my sister, and she's really my hero. Margie is her name. And
may I ask, how old was she when she was first diagnosed with ALS?
She was not even, hold on, let me back up. She was in her late 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And
so, does she have children herself?
Yeah, and her youngest was 7, which is a shame. And she has 3 boys. And the boys are, they grew up having to, learn how to take care of their mom, especially that 7-year-old. I mean, he would come home and cook her dinners.
Oh my God, God bless him. That's a hero right there.
Yeah, yeah, it's really incredible. And she, I think, has been fighting this because she is determined to see them, all graduate college, all get married, and just to follow her boys. They're her life, and she is she ain't giving up. I can tell you that.
And how old is the youngest now?
The youngest is a senior in college.
Wow. Are there any prospects there for a marriage?
No.
I'm not pushing him if he's watching. So,
yeah, well, all I can say is no one tells, the aunts and the moms, nobody tells you anything unless there is a real prospect. But so I shouldn't say no. I don't know.
So when you were growing up in this family, was there a lot of music in your household? I mean, because obviously music, and especially one of your albums is called The Gold Standards. So obviously you have this gold standard that you aspire to. Was that the kind of music that you grew up listening to? And there's also which I love about you, Deborah, is this mix of country and, people don't think of country music as part of the Great American Songbook, but it is part of the Great American Songbook.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's all American.
It is.
And yeah, so, okay. I grew up in Mississippi, in Jackson, Mississippi. And my favorite music, I just loved to dance. And so my favorite music was anything I could dance to. I loved R&B. I just knew that I wanted Luther Vandross to sing at my wedding one day. I mean, I love the Commodores, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Now it's funny because I know J.D. Nicholas from the Commodores sang on one of the songs I wrote, and Philip Bailey I know from Earth, Wind, and Fire through the Jazz Foundation. And it's funny how I got to meet a lot of my heroes. But I think the R&B inspired me in all the other music. And of course, I listen to everything, but everything I do has a little hint of an R&B. Sometimes, it's too many R&B licks and the producer says, wait, whoa, back off. It's too much. But my mother was an opera singer. She was a lyric soprano, and my dad was a jazz saxophone player. So I guess that kind of made me a musical mutt, truthfully.
So what was, you are growing up with this music. When did you first have an opportunity? When did you discover that not only did you enjoy the music, but you had a gift for the music?
This is so funny. I was really, I was very outgoing. I was a comedian and a clown, and I played the piano. I took like 12 or 13 years of classical piano, but I didn't sing. And I don't know why. I think I was so shy to sing. I didn't want to sing out in front of anyone. And then when I got to high school, I auditioned for, it was a very prestigious chorus at Murrah High School in Jackson, Mississippi. So the choral group I auditioned for, and that was the first time I really ever sang for anyone. And
No training. This was just a natural voice. You just went in and sang for them.
yes, and the crazy thing is I could slap myself because my mother taught voice lessons, and I never would take anything. I was just always so shy. I just didn't want to sing in front of anyone. And my mother, I would remember doing my homework in my bedroom, and I would hear everybody that came to our house sing Moon River. And so
oh my God, today I'm going to say this, and Rose is going to agree with me right now, because today is National Paranormal Day.
oh yes,
And Moon
we just
River, Moon River, there's a special connection here, because Moon River was written the year I was born. And my grandmother always told me that when that song was mentioned, or that she was nearby. And so here you mentioned.
that chills.
Rose is going to say that's right. So she's there.
I love
So
that. Oh,
there it is.
that is so great. Well, hi to you.
Moon River, there, Grandma.
Tell her
I was there,
hello.
hi.
And so when I asked my mother as I got older and became a singer, I said, Mama, what was it that you had to teach Moon River to everybody? Is it like the range? Is it the way you project it? What was it about it that was so special? You had to teach it to everybody. And my mother said, well, it was the only song I knew how to play on the piano.
That's great.
So,
I love it.
but I always say I sang solo. I sang solo. No one could hear me. And that's kind of how I was in high school. But when I got to college, I started auditioning for the musicals and luckily landed the lead. And so I think I was either a freshman or a sophomore, and my parents came to see me in this musical. And my mother, I remember so clearly, I can hear my mother telling me that my mother's name is Sandy, my dad's name is Bob. And my mother said they were sitting in there and I sang the first song. My mother leaned over to my father and goes, Bob, Debbie can sing. And so that was it. And after that, I really aspired to want to sing.
Now, did you have a lot of opportunities in Jacksonville to be able to sing there?
You know what? I went to Washington University in St. Louis. So after I graduated from high school, I went to college, and I performed in college. But after that, I got involved in the Miss America pageant. And my talent was playing classical piano. I did not sing. And I was always first runner up.
Deborah, you didn't twirl a baton?
While I was playing the piano. If I'd done that, maybe. But so I was first runner up. And I was a senior in college. And all my friends said, you need to sing. You need to sing and you can win. So I got this guy. He was a pageant guy,
Coordinator.
They gave me his name and I went to see him and he taught me this one song, Johnny One Note. And I sang, Johnny could only sing one note, and the note
he sang was this.
That note, and the next thing I knew, I was holding the trophy. I was Miss St. Louis.
Good for you.
So that kind of got me involved. And then I started doing industrials. I got hired to just start, entertaining, whether it was the Mississippi Power and Light Company or whoever it was, and started putting together the music. And then I had.
Let me ask you, excuse me for interrupting, but was it because of this that the career starts to take off, or did you make a conscious decision that you were going to pursue a career as a singer?
I knew I wanted to be an entertainer. And I knew I wanted to be an entertainer, even though I was so shy about singing. I knew I wanted to be in that world. And so when I had to apply for colleges, I really should have gone to Juilliard. I should have applied, but I don't know. I was a straight A student. And so all my life, my family said, you're going to be the doctor in the family. And I said, okay. I just, I heard it so much. And so I went to Washington University in St. Louis. It's one of the top pre-med and med schools in the country. They call it the Harvard of the Midwest. And it's actually very difficult to get into. And so I was so thrilled, I was in, and I got there my freshman year, and I realized I want to perform. I'm such a ham, and everybody I'm going to see, I'm going to be seeing patients one at a time in the room, and they're all going to be sick. This isn't what I want to do. And so I changed, and I put a special major together for public relations and business.
Wow.
But I auditioned for all the musicals out of the theater world. And it was primarily because my parents had told me, we understand you want to go into entertainment, that's fine, but get a solid career to back you up. And so that's really how I went there, thinking I was going to be a doctor. I don't know. I must have thought I was going to be a singing doctor or something, but now I just play one on TV. So
now, did you audition for the Muni? The Muni, very famous theater in St. Louis.
Yes, it is. No, I did not. I primarily did all of the work in college and with pageants. But I loved going to the Muni. But I think most of the shows at the Muni were brought in from New York. And what's crazy, Richard, is I saved, all the programs. And then years later, years later, I started thumbing through the program, and they're all my friends. Like, all these people who would come in from Broadway were in my program. And then I was in the show. I did a chorus line in Los Angeles. I was Diana Morales. And the people that I saw at the Muni do it that had been on Broadway were the people I was in the show with. It's crazy how this world works.
It's the craziest thing. It's almost as if you manifest all this. And I really do believe in that. So as all this is beginning to happen, are you mapping out a career for yourself, or are you finding it's the people that you're meeting as you go along? Do you have a game plan at this point as you start to figure out the path that you're on right now?
Well, I just knew I wanted to be in show business. I don't think I should have mapped it out better. When I landed in Los Angeles.
Okay, let's start there.
Okay.
There's a fork in the road.
Uh-huh.
And one is Broadway, one is Los Angeles. Why Los Angeles instead of New York?
Oh, again, I made the wrong decision.
No. I don't think they're wrong decisions. You made the right decision.
I felt like not the wrong decision, but for what my talent was at the time, I should have gone to New York and started auditioning. But I'll tell you why I went to LA. My younger sister, Sherry, went to USC, University of Southern California. And my parents said, we're going to look at the school. If you'd like to come with us, if it will help you make a decision of what you want to do, then come with us. So I went. I fell in love with Los Angeles. I thought it was the coolest place, and I loved it so much. I just said, this is where I'm going. I'm moving here. So that kind of changed everything. And all of a sudden I started, auditioning for TV and film, and, even put any of the aspirations of singing and dancing aside for a while, because I went into a whole nother place. But I ended up for a while rooming with the girl who was Miss America. So all the pageant girls kind of stuck together. And my third day there, I got an audition, an interview for a soap opera. And within 2 weeks, I had a small part on a soap opera. And so my parents had told everybody, all their friends in the whole state of Mississippi, when I was going to be on and to watch my big debut. And of course, the president preempted my appearance. So it never aired, never got to see it. It was long before.
I'll tell you, I learned a long time ago, if I'm going to do something on TV or something, I don't announce it to anybody. And, if they catch it, they catch it, because that's happened to me on more than one occasion.
Oh my gosh.
It's the worst. It's just horrible. So, but you're starting to, what are you starting to meet the right people, or are you starting to meet the wrong people, which can also happen in this business?
My dad went to school with someone very big in the industry. His name is Larry Gordon. Larry Gordon is a major producer, and I'm pretty sure he was president of 20th Century Fox. I may have my names wrong, but so my daddy called him up and said, would you meet Debbie and give her some advice? So I went in his office. Number one, the office was the most gorgeous thing I had ever seen. The wood and the table. I mean, it was, it was just stunning. And he sat me down, and he leaned across the desk, that big, beautiful mahogany desk. And he said, let me tell you something. There are not enough roles for Scarlett O'Hara. You got to get rid of that accent. And then he proceeded to pick up the phone and call Jack Nicholas and say, I've got this Southern Belle. Who should she study with? And he started calling, all these famous people, and, getting me who I should study with, and setting me up. And would you believe, and again, I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't go back to him and push it, because I was determined I'm going to make it on my own. I don't want anybody to take the credit for it. If I get something, it's because I deserve it, and I don't want that. And so I never went back to him again. If I'd been smart, I would have, and who knows what I've been storing in. But I really was determined to get things because of my own talent and not because of who I knew. And so that's my big story. I would have, things could have been a lot different.
Well, let's break it down into the various pieces. Did you find an agent right away? You need an agent in LA,
yes,
or I mean, some people do, some people don't. But did you find an agent right away?
I did. I found several agents. I think I went through several agents, and I remember I had one agent who was a commercial agent, and I took my craft seriously. I worked hard. I went to acting classes, and I wanted to play all the characters, stripped down, the no makeup. I wanted to play, the old ladies. Like, I really wanted to stretch and work on, my acting. And so this commercial agent sent me for some interviews, and I always got up to be the Spanish roles. Well, I'm from Mississippi, and, I have an accent, but not a Spanish one. And my Spanish is not too good, although I did study it for a while. So I'd always get down to like the last two people. And I remember, I think for my very last audition, it was between me and the woman who won Miss Texas, Miss USA, and Miss Universe. And she was Hispanic. It was between the two of us. And then the director looked at us and said something in Spanish to me. And I was like, just give it to her.
Oh my God.
What you're saying. And I remember calling up my agent. I said, please don't send me out for any more commercials, because, you'd go and they'd say, okay, sleep on camera. We just want to see you close your eyes, look what it looks like to sleep. And I just felt like it was not taking me in the direction that I wanted to take for my acting and my performance. And so I just said, no more commercials. But I did end up doing a lot of spokesperson work. And I represented probably over 150 companies, including Dell Computers and Polaroid. And so that took me in a different direction as well. But no more commercials is what I told them.
And then the next layer, managers, good, bad, indifferent.
All three.
I know. I've been there.
I think it takes a very special person to be a manager who really gets the talent and understands it. I did have someone, probably who was the last person who worked with me before I ended up moving and leaving LA, and got a few parts in some movies, and he got me, and he knew what to submit me for. But I think, truthfully, if you don't go after it yourself, then it's hard to get. So in my case, I really didn't rely on any agent and any manager, and I was the one, pushing myself, and I didn't compete with anybody else. I just only competed with myself, and that's the way I still am. I'm very competitive with myself. If I can be better tomorrow than I am today,
That's my
then
philosophy. That's it.
I'm ahead.
Rose will tell you that's my philosophy every
Well,
day.
it's a great philosophy. And Richard, I don't like to rely on anybody else to get anything done for me. So I remember there was a time, I shouldn't say this and tell this, but who cares at this point? But I think I would find out if there was a role, and I would call, and I would put on a British accent.
With a Southern tint in it. I agree with it. I totally agree with that.
I would use my middle name and the name of, last name of my fiance, Silver. My middle name was Lynn, and I think I used to call it, "This is Lynn Silver." That sounded more Spanish than British, but
now you can go back for those Spanish roles.
Right. See, now who knew? But anyway, I got a few things because, I submitted myself for it. And so I think it's so many things involved, but I think the biggest thing over talent is just luck, being in the right place at the right time.
Well, I want to talk about being at the right place at the right time, because you have had the good fortune of singing with some of the greatest people in the business. But as I also say, they've had the great pleasure of singing with you.
So nice.
And it's true. But I want to ask, what do you consider your first break in this business where you went, oh my God, this is really happening?
I think it was when I got the role in A Chorus Line. That to me was just over the top incredible, because there were people who had done it in New York and that were involved and had been on Broadway. And, as we know, I chose the LA path. So it made me so happy to be on stage and to be able to do that. So I think that was, I look back at that as one of my big stepping stones, I think.
And how did that change your life? I mean, what did that do for you as an actress? I mean, obviously, I would assume that it gave you another boost of confidence in terms of what you were able to accomplish. And how long were you with the show before moving on to other things?
Well, it was a short run. It was a set run, but what it did is I just started getting roles after that. And people who had been involved with the show or saw me in the show started calling me. And so I think that really helped. It got me seen, and that's why I, like with my show that I have now with Glitter and Grits and all that jazz, I got through telling somebody today, I just need to get this show seen, and then it can take off, because that's what happens with most of my shows. People don't know it, and I'm not a household name like so many of the people that I'm sure you are used to interviewing, but when people see me, that's when I get the following.
Well, I'm going to show another clip, if you don't mind. And this clip is really of today, because when COVID hit, you came up with this great song and it went viral. And you got a lot of industry people to record this song. So I'm going to share the song, and then we're going to talk about this on the other side. I think I don't even need to name the song, because I think you know which one I'm talking about. So let me pull this up, and we'll talk about this on the other side. Here it is.
the COVID-19 blues. 'Cause I've been paying my COVID dues. Everything that could go wrong did, but I simply refuse to quit. I got the COVID-19 blues. They ain't going away. On a Monday morning, COVID came to town. And before you knew it, the country was shutting down.
The country was shutting down. This was bad and about to get worse.
It's a plague on the universe. And we thank all the heroes who bravely put other lives first. I got the COVID-19 blues. 'Cause I've been paying my COVID dues. Yes, I did.
Everything that could happen did.
But I simply refuse to quit. I got the COVID-19 blues. They ain't going away. It's been a year and they've been working on a cure.
I'm praying for a cure.
To say we're out of the woods is premature. So premature. Do what's right, that's the bottom line.
Don't ignore any warning sign.
Sooner or later we'll dance in the sunshine. I got the COVID-19. 'Cause I've been paying my COVID dues. Everything that can go wrong did, but I simply refuse to quit. I got the COVID-19 blues. They'll be going away. Yeah. So many people are hurting and suffering, can't pay the rent, but they say we're recovering.
Watching the news, it'll get you confused.
But this much I know. Further apart we are closer together. Even this terrible storm we can weather. We got the COVID-19 blues. I've been paying my COVID dues. When we finally knock it down, and we're starting to come around.
And then the COVID-19 blues, they'll be going away.
Bye, 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 bye. Go on now, COVID. Get your ass on out of here.
We're starting at the chorus before.
Second verse. We're gonna back and do another chunk.
1, 2.
Okay, starting again at the top.
Let's hit it, Philly. Here we go. I got the COVID-19 blues. They ain't going away.
Then the COVID-19 blues.
I've got the COVID-19 blues. I don't have time to sing. I'm shopping. Oh, come on, eBay. I need my Bob Mackie back.
I have somebody in my video. This is so cute.
I got the COVID-19 blues.
COVID-19 blues.
Just a little bit of blues. 19 times in a row.
Bye, 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 bye.
Bye, darling. See you later, COVID.
That is just brilliant. And I want to point out that Cher Randy Roberts. I just, Randy and I mean, he was mentioned in last night's show as well. Randy and I headlined at Trump's Taj Mahal in Atlantic City.
Really?
Yes.
He does such a great job. He's phenomenal. And I was I enjoyed watching that. I haven't seen it in so long. It just brought such a smile to my face, and I appreciate everybody partaking in that.
No, it is a brilliant, brilliant piece. As we begin to wrap up tonight, I end my shows with my homage to James Lipton inside the Actors Studio. I've got some random questions here that I have pulled just to give an overview of you and to give everyone a little bit more about you. And while we're doing this, as I said at the beginning of the show tonight, the word for tonight is mastery. And as you can see, you truly have mastered it. You know what you're doing, and whether you think you still have a way to go. And of course, life is a process, and we all continue to grow. And I can't wait to see what's ahead. But we're going to get a chance to get a little bit to know you a little bit better through these questions, I hope. And the first question is, what would make your life more comfortable and exciting in the days ahead?
Well, I feel like I'm back in a pageant here.
You are. The winner is.
So what would make my life more comfortable? Oh my gosh, if I just had more time. I need more time in a day. I need time to unpack my suitcases in between. I mean, seriously, I need time just to get the things done that I want to get done, not only in my career, but just in my house. I think time is something that can never be completely mastered. I think time is so precious, whether it's time to get things done that you need to get done, or just time with the people you love. That's to me is the most important thing. We can never have enough time with the people we love. And I'm very fortunate to have both of my parents with us. They live up the street, and I wish I had more time, to see them every day, because they're always telling me, come over, which I'm going to see them soon. But that's something, time with my kids, time with my husband, time with my dogs. I mean, time is precious, and I would kill to just have an extra 24 hours in every day.
That's wonderful. What is the most important action that you feel that you've taken in the past week when it comes to your career?
In the past week, I actually just set up to do going to the studio actually on Friday with Charlie Colello, who was basically one of the Jersey Boys. He was with Frankie Valli. He stepped in for a while in the Four Seasons, but he also produced a lot of their music and arranged it. And Charlie is working with me. We're doing a couple of duets, one with Ronnie Millsap.
Wow.
And one with Pam Tillis.
Wow.
And then we're doing a couple of my own tunes. And we've been working on this for so long, trying to figure out what the songs are that we're doing. And I'm so thrilled that it kind of hit me yesterday morning. And I called Charlie up and just said, I know the songs now. I got it, because we've been going on and on for like a year, going back and forth. And so we're doing this.
That's wonderful. I think I know the answer to this next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Okay. Do you practice gratitude? And if so, if you can name 5 things that you're grateful for today.
Let me tell you, I am so grateful all the time. And I think that is one of the most important things a person could be, because you wouldn't be anywhere, number one, without the people around you who help you get to where you're going, whether that's your friends, your family, your teachers. And I'm so grateful. And I feel so fortunate to have such a loving family. To me, God comes first, but right under that, it's my family. And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to truly have a husband who's so supportive of my career and who loves music so much. We have the best time picking out songs for my album, and he's he's picked out some of the greatest ones. Wait, I'm supposed to name 5 things, right?
Well, you've named 3 right there.
Well, I'm so grateful for my puppies because I have to tell you, when my kids left for
What do
college,
you have?
huh?
What do you have?
I have
Puppies.
I have 2 right now, a miniature schnauzer and a Morkie, which is a Maltese and a Yorkie mixed.
Now I want to see, is the Morkie nearby?
No, but if anybody's hearing or listening, you can bring her in. We have her locked up so she wouldn't be
Okay.
jumping
No,
up.
I have a Maltese.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I saw it when Rob Russell was on because he was
Yes.
babysitting my sugar over Thanksgiving, and she was in his interview.
Yes, and I'm going to take a moment, and I want to send my condolences to Brooke.
Yes.
You know, and I know that Brooke is your assistant, and is going through a difficult time today. So my heart goes out to Brooke.
Put her precious dog to sleep this morning.
Yes.
So that is the worst.
It's
And
the
that's
worst.
why I feel, I'm so grateful that I have people in my lives that are in my lives. Like I have many, like this is paranormal day, right?
Paranormal day. It's there.
Yeah. But I have people in my life, who are so precious to me because I have lost quite a few people, as we all have, and especially in the past year or so during the pandemic. And I'm just grateful for the time that I got to spend with them. And I also I'm so I can't just pick one thing or 5 things to be grateful for, because whenever anything happens, I just always want to say, thank you, God. I'm thankful for my health and my family's health. I was 58 days in the beginning of the pandemic, 58 days in isolation, which caused me to write that song because I knew when I came out of having COVID, I wanted to do something to help others. And in this case, I wanted to help people who really had lost so much of their opportunities in the entertainment business. So I put together the song to raise money for the Jazz Foundation of America, as well as the Actors Fund. And so when people play that song, the funds are still being raised. And so I would love to encourage everybody to listen to it and play that. And can we tell them about my music before we go?
Absolutely. And we're going to put all that information is going to be, by the way, all of those links that were sent to me are all on YouTube.
Oh, great.
So everything is there, so that all that absolutely people can contribute to ALS. All of that information is there.
Terrific. Well, thank you. And that's the other thing, I guess I'm so grateful to have worked with some of the masters in this business by having Ray Benson produce Glitter and Grits. Ray is in his 50th year with Asleep at the Wheel. He leads that band. And if your listeners and the people who are viewing do not know Asleep at the Wheel, you should check them out, because they are truly masters in Western swing. And we mixed Western swing and jazz and came out with some really, really fun music. And we just had the best time putting it together. It wasn't like we had any charts or anything, Richard. We just went in the studio and started playing around and came out with something that it spells FUN. And then when people hear that album, that's the first thing they say. It just puts a smile on their faces, and it certainly did on all of ours. And then I've got a new project. I am recording with the Count Basie Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
And it's being produced by Steve Jordan. And Steve Jordan is currently the drummer for the Rolling Stones. Replaced Charlie Watts. And Steve is also the music director for the Jazz Foundation of America. And that's where we met, because COVID-19 Blues is going to help the Jazz Foundation of America. And Steve is absolutely brilliant. And when it comes to jazz, he knows, you name it, whoever it is, any jazz musician, whether they play what instrument, what year, anything. He's just like a walking encyclopedia of that. And I have learned so much from him. Now, he is a master. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He is a master in jazz. And Charlie Watts, who left the Rolling Stones, sadly, when he passed away this year, he was a jazz aficionado as well. So it was very appropriate that Steve took his place. And then another master, very fortunate to have worked with, is Steve Tyrell.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and you mentioned it earlier, Steve is producing a duet with Diane Shore and myself, and we're working with Tony Orlando on a couple of tunes. And Steve and I actually have a duet that's going to be coming out soon. We've been holding off on releasing it, so we're going to release it probably in a couple of months. And so I'm thrilled to get that out. He's like my big brother, and he'll
love him. He's just the best.
Really is.
Well, I want to give a shout out to Howard Tucker, because you mentioned Charlie earlier, who arranged with Frankie Valli.
Right.
And today you mentioned another paranormal moment. Today is Frankie Valli's birthday. So happy birthday, Frankie Valli.
Happy birthday.
Yes. So I want to ask, how did you find yourself creating Glitter and Grits? And was there a certain moment working on this CD that stands out above all others when you said, wow, this is it?
You know what? We had come up with 12 songs, and we recorded them all in the recording studio. And then Ray Benson and I were at his home, and he has a studio at home. We were going through everything, and we just said, you know what? Let's do one more song. And everybody we had checked out of the studio. And so Ray just called the whole gang, everybody back in. And it was probably the coolest experience of my recording that entire album, because he put everybody in a different room. The drummer was in the basement, the guitarist was in the bathroom, the fiddle player was in the kitchen, I was in a closet somewhere, and we all had headsets on. And it was so much fun, because everybody's making jokes and we're all laughing, and you can't see anybody because you're in a different room in the house. And we recorded Deep in the Heart of Texas.
Wow.
And it kind of came to life, and it was just everybody's personality and their heart and soul were in this project. But again, I go back to that whole thing about being fun. And so when I started sending it to look for a distributor and figure out how we were going to put this out, everybody wrote back and said, oh my gosh, I had so much fun listening to this. This was really put a smile on my face. And it's exactly what we need at this time, because it was 2020 and it was during the pandemic. So I'm just thrilled that we were able to do that and bring some happiness to people. And we are going to be doing it again in a little while. So stay tuned. We got
Are you bringing it to New York?
What?
Are you bringing it to New York?
Okay, so I do have a show. It's called Glitter and Grits and All That Jazz. And I certainly plan on bringing it to New York. And the great thing about the show is that I don't just have musicians with me. I have entertainers. So Casey Abrams is on bass, and he's an incredible singer. You saw him in the COVID-19 Blues. You've seen him on American Idol. He's traveling with Postmodern Jukebox right now. He's so great. And we sing together and dance together. I have a saxophone player, Jesse Jones Jr., who is just a jazz legend. Not only is he fabulous on the sax, he can scat like crazy, tap dance. I mean, he takes the mouthpiece off his sax and is scatting through it. I mean, he's hysterical and just will blow you away with his talent. And our fiddle player will come out and clog and sing. And then Summer Camargo is my trumpet, has played trumpet in Glitter and Grits and All That Jazz. And Summer is a third year at Juilliard. And she is the protege of Wynton Marsalis. And he's actually working with her on her new CD. And let me tell you something. You will rarely hear someone that will blow you away, like Summer. I mean, she just brought the house down. And Nick Petrillo is our musical director, and he is a genius, and he can play all the glitter and grit stuff. And my whole Glitter and Grits album, Floyd Domino, who is probably one of the best in the entire world on the stride piano and the boogie woogie. Hardly anybody can match that. And this fabulous Nick Petrillo is able to do everything so clean. And I would just love, I'm planning on touring it and bringing it to a city near you. And just would love for people to see the show, because I'm able to showcase these masters. I mean, they are really masters at their craft. And I'm so happy. I told them all when I first brought them together. The show was directed by Jeff Calhoun.
Oh my God! Yes.
Jeff,
you got the best.
Jeff is great, and Tommy Toon's the one that introduced me to Jeff. And I mean, Jeff, for those of you out there who don't know, Jeff is currently doing 9 to 5 for Dolly, but he did High School Musical. He did Newsies.
And check out my interview with him right here on this platform.
Oh, yes. Okay. And Ivan Menchel was one of the writers who he's got a show right now. He writes a lot with Frank Wildhorn. It's Bonnie and Clyde is in London right now. And Ivan's just brilliant. And I had some really incredible masters. And another thing I'm grateful for. I mean, I'm grateful to be able to work with such masters. And so I just can't wait to get the show out and get it seen, because when I brought everybody together, the first thing I told everybody in the cast is, I want you to steal the show. And that's what I think everybody did. Everybody had their shining moment. And I love that, because I tell them, well, I was kidding when I said to steal the show. But no.
I love the fact that you say that, though. I just love it.
Yeah, but no, I really, really meant it, because I just want to showcase. I mean, I'm so fortunate to have such talent around me. I like to share. Why not? Let everybody just enjoy it. So it's almost like a live jam session on stage, and it's a party, because you don't know what anybody's going to say, and everybody's just throwing stuff out, and and then I turn around and start responding to it. And again, it's that word. I guess that should be my word for the day, FUN, fun, because it's a fun show too, just like the Glitter and Grits album is. So I hope people will listen to that, and then listen to I have a duet with Ann Hampton Calloway out called Sunny Side of the Street, and it's on my EP. That I love the philosophy so much of what Sunny Side of the Street shares with us, that I titled my EP Sunny Side.
That's wonderful. No, well, and you couldn't get any good people to work with, obviously.
I know. Especially Bill Medley of the Righteous Brothers. Now, talk about.
Well, this next question is going to be a difficult question for you then, with all that you've just said. Out of everything, we as the observer look at a person's career and we go, wow, that's great. That's great. That's great. But internally, what do you feel is the highest thing of value that you have achieved?
Well, actually, that's an easy one, because it's my children. My children really understand and get what it means to help others. And when my sister got ALS, both of them jumped right in and created charities, basically, or to help raise money for a cure. My daughter put together a thing called Hope Heart by Madison, and she's an artist. And in fact, they're right here. She made these the stationery. She was 11, and she painted these pictures and put it in stationery. They're all different pictures of the word hope. And I'm proud, because we taught her that you don't just ask for put a price on certain things, just ask for the donation. Let me tell you, people's hearts were opened, and in 6 weeks she raised $60,000, and she was 11 and 12 at that point by the time it got out. And my son, the same thing. He put together many fundraisers, including the first Battle for the Bands Battle of the Bands to battle ALS, and we got celebrity judges in South Florida and put everybody together. And we fight so hard for a cure because we told my sister, if you have it, we all have it, and we're not going to stop, and we're going to fight to the very end until a cure is found. And so I think that the sincerity and the generosity that my children show, I feel like I've accomplished what I'm here to do on this earth, and that's to help people open their hearts to help others.
Well, wow. And you've mastered that as well. That's incredible.
I'm trying. I haven't mastered anything for sure.
Did you make any new connections this week prior to tonight?
Oh, let me think. Well, you, I hadn't met you yet. And so now
I hope we're going to stay in touch. You're
I
just, you're a shining light. You're
I am
amazing.
counting on that. I can't wait to meet you and hug you in person.
Yeah, same here. What's the best thing that you've ever, you've traveled all over the world, and I love food. I'm a gourmand. What's the greatest food that you've ever tasted anywhere that you've traveled? And do you cook yourself?
Well, yes, I do cook when I have time. Everything I do, I basically make up. If I follow a recipe, I throw my own ideas in it. But the best thing I've ever had was my grandmother's chocolate cake. I am a board certified chocoholic. I get it from my parents. I mean, it's just inherited. I've never met a piece of chocolate I didn't love. And this cake, I've been through all her recipes. Faye was my grandmother's name. And I've been through all of her recipes, and I haven't found the one that is that cake. But we're still trying them. But that will, it just left an impression. I can taste it, I can see it, I can smell it, and I will never forget that chocolate cake. And that came out of Lexington, Mississippi, with a population, well, probably less than like 3,000 people. So it was a good chocolate cake.
Good for you, Faye. My grandmother also had made a great chocolate cake. Did you ever experience any prejudice in your career? And if so, how did you get through it?
Well, you're talking to a Jewish girl raised in Jackson, Mississippi. So I experienced it my entire life.
Wow. And I'm sorry about that.
But if the Ku Klux Klan had their way, I wouldn't be here today. They blew up my synagogue, and it was planned to be when I was there in Sunday school, but the bomb went off early.
I'm so sorry.
It went off during the night. Luckily, and talk about another thing, being grateful for is timing. And you know how I deal with it? With education. I like to educate people, because sometimes I think people are prejudiced because they don't understand.
Thank you.
And they don't know. So the more that I can teach someone about someone who's different than they are, I think I've actually turned a few people around, because people sometimes are just ignorant and they don't know, or they follow what they grew up hearing. And that's something that's important to me, is to always make sure that, things like, look what's happening in Ukraine right now. And you always say, never again with the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
So those are issues very, very close to my heart.
Wow. Well, God bless you. And I'm sorry that your family endured this. Can you create the backstory? And I think you already have, with what's next for you. I think you've already answered that question with the projects that you're working on. Is there anything that you haven't shared with us about a project that you're working on that's coming up that you're very excited about?
I do. I am in the middle of these duets, like I said, and I'm going to get through with the Charles Colello collection. And Steve Jordan and I have a few other surprises besides the Count Basie Orchestra that we're going to be coming out with. But since he took the job with the Rolling Stones, he's now back on tour till August. So we had to put that off. But it's been interesting, so interesting working with him because he has to be in a bubble because he's, right there with the Rolling Stones. And so everything we have had to do has been on Zoom. And I'm really looking forward to in August getting in the studio and, being there face to face and getting through this as well. But I also have, and who knows when it'll ever get out. I have a movie or a book. I haven't decided which it is. My son calls it a boovie, but it's been written all on this phone here. So one day when I have that time that we never get enough of it, it's going to be transferred. But I have so many things, and life is so short. I just want to choose my bar mitzvah pictures because literally my kids were bar mitzvahed, half their life ago, and I haven't had a chance to put the albums together. I want to transfer all my photo albums and everything, and you got to move everything to the cloud. You got to keeping up with everything, and that's what Charlie Colello and I were talking about today. I said I have a song. It's on a cassette tape that I did, and he said, "Oh, what?" So there's just so much to do, and I try. I go to bed sometimes at 2 a.m. and get up at 6, but
I'm the same way. And when you're ready, you're always got a seat in this. We're going to give away some glitter and grits right now. And let's go here and let's click here and let's see who our winner is going to be tonight. They're all winners. Every one of you. So thank you for being here. Pam Stubbs, she's a winner a lot because she shows up. So
that's
Pam,
awesome.
I will put you in touch with Deborah, and Deborah, will you sign it for Pam and get it here?
I'd love to.
That'll be great. I'm going to take this off, and we'll put you in touch with each other, and then I'm going to bring this up closer. Great. Don't go anywhere for a moment, Deborah. I want to say a few words, and then I'm going to give you the final word tonight. Again, the word for tonight is mastery. We saw, this was like a master class for me. You are just so amazing. And I want to thank two people here, Tess Labella and Rosa Puzo. And I want to share with all of you that the work that I do, putting this show together, I don't do it alone. These two women work tirelessly to get the word out for what I do. Lisa Rodrigo does it as well. And all of you who share what I do, you tell other people about it, you leave comments, all the work that you do, I don't take it lightly. It means the world to me. And I consider all of you masters at that. Social media is about three things. And I've said this before, and I sound like a broken record, but it's worth repeating. It's liking, and it's commenting, and it's sharing. I've posted about this today. Funny Girl on Broadway. Beanie Feldstein was hired to do a job, and she's doing the best job she can. And there are a lot of haters out there. She's not Barbra Streisand. She never set out to be Barbra Streisand. She's not trying to be Barbra Streisand. Let her do her job and let her live her authentic life. She's creating art. She shows up at the theater every night in the midst of a community that wants to tear her down. Critics who haven't seen the show are writing negative things about her. It's not necessary. Let's support each other. Let's celebrate each other. Let's build each other up. That's what mastery is about. It's building each other up, not tearing each other down. I thank each of you for being here tonight. If this is your first time watching this show, I hope it will not be your last. My goal is to celebrate artists and their body of worth. Leave a comment on YouTube after the show. Let others know what you think about the show and share it around. I also end every show by telling everyone to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. Go to your Facebook friends list and go to the 5th name that pops up and reach out with a phone call. Not an email message, not a text message, not a private inbox message, but a phone call. And let that person know what they mean to you. And this is what I want you all to do. Deborah, where do you prefer that people buy your CD?
Well, right now it's streaming. It's also on Amazon,
Okay.
but all of my music is streaming. So whether it's on
That's how I listen to
whatever,
it.
yeah, whatever their thank you, whatever your favorite streaming site is where it is. And
I prefer the streaming because I can mention his name. Like I can right now say, well, mine is named Ziggy, and I can say, Ziggy, play Deborah Silver.
Resuming Amazon Music.
That's great.
And there she is.
I was walking along, minding my business.
Ziggy, stop. I will listen to this after the show.
And that's Freddie Cole, which
yes.
we didn't get to talk about, Nat King Cole's brother. And I was so lucky to have Freddie in my life. And we did a duet of Orange Colored Sky.
Yes, it's beautiful. I've been listening to you all day in preparation for the show. But my point is that you can go to Amazon and you can listen to it. But some people do prefer to have a CD. So what you can do is you can go to Amazon.com and you can order 2 CDs. You can keep one for yourself, and then you can send one to the 5th friend on your friends list, and you can say, this is a gift because you mean a lot in my life. So that's what we can do for each other. Let's build each other up. Let that be our goal. As my dear friend Sean Moniger says, we're all in this together, but we're not in the same boat. And I always say, if you're going to go out in a boat, make sure you bring a skipper along. So, Deborah, I'm going to leave the screen and I'm going to give you the final word. Anything that you want to say about anything that we talked about tonight that you want to build upon, anything that we didn't talk about that you wish we had, or just any message that you want to put out as your closing remarks tonight. Don't worry about how to end the show. As soon as you say goodbye, the final credits will start to roll. I thank you for being here. You are, I can't say it enough, a master, a mistress. You are incredible, and I'm a fan of yours. And you're welcome here anytime. And when you plan your dates in New York, call me before you plan the dates because I want to make sure I'm available.
Oh,
so thank you. I cannot wait to be there. So I will see you, and it's all yours.
Well, thank you so much. And first of all, I just want to say to Richard, I'm a fan of yours, and I think you are the master. So I never claimed to be a master. So let's just get that one straight. I will be learning the rest of my life. But what I guess how I would like to end the show is tell y'all what glitter and grits means and how I came up with that name. When I put that album together, glitter is the Western swing music. They used to dance in the dance halls and get all dressed up. And the grits is, I mean, the band is about as down to earth as possible. And, you know, and we all, I'm from the South, and, you know, to me, it's what's inside that counts. And, so I had a lot of people with a lot of wonderful grit inside them. And in a world today where they tend to label people a lot, I think there should be no labels. And I think we should really celebrate the glitter in everyone and value the grit in everyone, because I think the world would be an even more special place with that. And if we could master, for the word of the day, if we could master being able to do that and to celebrate everyone's glitter and value their grits, I think we would all be able to get along and hopefully solve some of the problems and issues out there in the world. But in the meantime, please listen to my music. It's you could go to my website, deborahsilvermusic.com. And I am streaming, and I have some music that is just waiting to be listened to. And I hope to see y'all. And feel free, rate me on social media and follow me. I could use the followers. All right. Well, thank you all. Have a wonderful night, and God bless you all. Goodbye.